Morning, Facebook. Morning. How are we doing today? So it's Friday morning. Although, if you're anything like me, you'll be feeling a little bit like it is when it's Christmas with absolutely no idea what day of the week it is. It's like Christmas, but with less prawns, I think. It's kind of the assumption that I'm making in my head. So, good morning, everybody. How are we doing? So, I wanted to talk this morning about progress, about the concept of progress, and about what it means and how to recognize it. I think what's triggered this, by the way, is so it's coffee time, by the way. I haven't had coffee yet. So I have my Facebook memories that come up every morning. With all things that have happened in the past and things like that. I don't know if you have this. I'm not sure if it's like an automatic thing or if you have to switch it on or what. I don't know why I get it, but I do. So on my memories this morning was a video of me 3 years ago today. And I was in my back garden of my old house. And I was talking about on this video the fact that I'd been invited by Michael Stenhouse to do a podcast on the Inside Property Investing podcast, which is one of my favourite podcasts. Michael Stenhouse is just a legend, and I still haven't met him yet, but I will one day. But he had invited me to be on this, and the year before, I'd written down on a piece of paper that I'll know I've made it. Again, tongue in cheek, by the way. I'm very aware that I haven't made it. No one's making, like, we're all progressing, right? But I'll know I've made it, or I'll have made a difference to my career when I get invited to do a podcast on inside property investing. It was one of my goals that I wrote down. And I write down every year a list of like, I've made it goals, and they're the things that I try to progress towards, right? So this morning, 3 years ago today, was my, I'd been invited to be on the podcast with Michael Stenhouse, and I was telling Facebook about it. Now, in this video, I look like a completely different person. Completely different. My hair obviously is a different colour, but there's no secret there that this is not a natural blonde situation. As you can tell from my roots, which isolation is not being kind to, by the way. But I've got dark brown hair, short dark brown hair, and I'm about 3 stone heavier than I am now in this particular video. And what's interesting about this, and what got me thinking, is that, like, I obviously look in the mirror every day and I see that, yeah, I look different now than what I did then. And I recognise that. But sometimes I forget the progress that I've made in terms of my fitness and my health and my business and the way that I look after myself now, which I wasn't doing then. And it got me thinking about progress. And I think at a time right now where, for many of us, it feels a bit like the world is crumbling around us at times, not always, but at times. I know, like myself, really good friends of mine, people that are really successful in business, some of the people that I know have got the strongest mindsets you could possibly imagine. Even they've had days where they're like, shit, like, this is pretty serious. What are we going to do about paying our staff? You know, what are we going to do about getting investors' money back to them? Like, what is happening? And this morning's sort of realization when I looked at that video of me 3 years ago today, and I got thinking about the business, I got thinking about everything, and I thought about you guys and the fact that I think some of you will need to hear that you're probably further ahead of where you think you are, even though things are going a little bit west sometimes at the moment. And we often say to ourselves, we often convince ourselves that we should be further ahead than where we are now. Should is a stupid word, because should by whose standards, first of all? Comparison is like a joy killer. If you compare yourself to other people that you see online, or you meet at a meeting, or I don't know, whatever. If you compare yourself to other people, you're not comparing apples with apples, because their journey and their story and their background and their experience is not the same as you. It's not the same as yours has been. And we've all lived through our own tough stuff, okay? And what you have to remember is that it's not about being further ahead of where you are now. Not you should be further ahead of where you are now. That's not necessarily the case. Most of the time, actually, you're exactly where you should be right now, because maybe you don't have enough life experience to be any further forward yet, but it's coming. So when you sit at home and you're hard on yourself and you're saying to yourself, well, I should be further ahead of where I am than where I am now. I should have done more. You know, I haven't done what they've done. And these kind of like this internal turmoil that you create in your head. Actually, what you're doing is being really down on yourself and forgetting the progress that you've actually made. Now, I can associate this with my health and my fitness at the moment, because for me, I'm really kind of concentrating on that. I'm trying to look after me more than I ever have, because I genuinely believe that if I don't look after me, I can't look after my family, I can't look after my friends, you know, I can't lead you guys, I can't look after my clients, I can't look after my business. If at the center of all of those things is me, well, I need to look after me too. 3 years ago in the video, it was evident in looking at that video this morning, I wasn't looking after me. I really wasn't. I looked really unhealthy. I looked not very happy. I mean, I was excited about the thing, but I wasn't. You can see I'm not very happy in the way that I was living. So I wanted to remind you that it's tough right now, but you've come far. You've come through a load of stuff previous to this. You've lived through real tough times. We've all lived through really tough times. You've lived through tougher shit than this, right? You have. So you need to stop comparing yourself with other people. You need to stop worrying about what else you're seeing online. You need to stop thinking, like if you're seeing people on Instagram at the moment, like living their best life at home, isolation, home workouts, living the dream, but you're at home feeling like your whole world is falling to pieces because your income's stopped, or you've not got enough food in the cupboards to feed your children, or, you know, all this real life stuff that's happening. Don't look at other people and think, well, I should be doing what they're doing because that's what other people are doing. And am I the only one feeling like this? Because actually, you're not the only one feeling like this. But what you have to remember sometimes is that that's other people's way of dealing with the turmoil that's in their life at the moment. Maybe your way of dealing with it is a different way, and that's okay. So I was triggered by this video this morning to talk to you about progress and to just give you a couple of ideas around how I track my progress now, because I think we're all guilty of putting the pressure on ourselves that we should be further ahead of where we are now. And what that creates is this expectation, or this, we feel like we've never actually got to where we were heading. And what that does is if you never reward yourself for hitting those little mini goals along the way, it's all for kind of nothing, and you feel like you're not getting anywhere. And that actually, in your brain, anchors a really negative thing. So journaling is a really powerful way for you to download what's in your head on a day-to-day basis. I'll be really honest, I don't journal daily. I'm not that disciplined as a person, as you guys know. Like, I'm really honest about this. I'm not massively disciplined as a person. I have to really try to make myself to be routine and consistent. It's something that I'm a lot more all over the place than many, but I'm okay with that. I've got things in place that fix that problem. But journaling for me, as often as I can, helps me to understand the progress that I'm making all of the time. So things like writing down the things I'm grateful for on a day-to-day basis. On the shit days more than on the good days. When you're feeling at your weakest, you have to be your strongest, because you've got to fight through it, right? You've got no choice. You've got to. You can't just stop. You've got to fight through it. So when you're feeling your weakest, you have to be your strongest. So on your days when you're having a shitty day, find things you're grateful for. You know, often my gratitude list is my friends, my husband. It's definitely had gin on that list from time to time. It's definitely been red wine and coffee on that list many times. But look around you and remember that even though it's feeling tough right now today, that actually you've probably lived through tougher stuff than this. And if you look around you and really look for it, you'll find things that you can be grateful for. And when you feel grateful for things, you come at the day from a place of positivity, and that definitely will help you to be in control of your emotions and rationalize in a better way. Now, journaling also allows you to structure your day in a better way. You know, not everybody is a 5 a.m. clubber, and that's totally fine. I'm not really. I do it some days, but other days, like today, I got up at 6:30. I'm in the office now because I'm working on an ebook for a friend of mine, and I am going to be in the office most of today, and I'll do my training later, and then I've got a Zoom call with like 2 of my best mates, and we're having wine over Zoom, and then I'll probably go to sleep. I'm okay with not being a 5 a.m.er, and you don't have to be a 5 a.m.er just because other people are. But if you are a 5 a.m.er, then be that, own it. It's totally fine. Whatever works for you, right? Now, the other thing that a journal works well for is to structure your day, plan your day. But to, I don't know if you ever wake up and kind of think, what am I doing today? Like, what do I need to get out of today? I've got so many things juggling around in my head. I don't know where to start. Overwhelm, ultimately, is what that is. Having a journal or having a list, or, you know, I've got a big whiteboard up here. It's like a whole wall of whiteboard that helps me to just download what's in my head and what needs to get done. And I can tick them things off as I go through the day, and I can track my progress. So progress is not just about looking back over years, months, weeks, etc., and looking how far you've come. It's also a really good way of making the most out of your time and being in control of what you're doing in a day. If you feel like at the moment, and I know I've got like friends, I've got clients who are isolating on their own, which I can't imagine how tough that is right now. You know, I'm with my husband. He's still working, so he's in and out, but he's here still. So if you're on your own, you feel like your days are just kind of blending into one. Like 3 of my best friends are all on their own, and I'm speaking to them every day, and they're saying it just feels like we're like days are just merging. Like we don't really know what's going on. It's like light and then it's dark, and that's all we know. You know, having a way of tracking your progress of things you're getting done, things you want to get done, things you like, new skills you want to learn, the work that you're doing if you're working from home, all that sort of stuff. A journal or some sort of tracking of that will really help you to stay in control of what's going on in your day. I just wanted to talk to you about that really, because recognizing how far you've come is a really good way of understanding that you're probably doing better than you give yourself credit for. We're naturally really tough on ourselves quite a lot of the time, and I wanted to just remind you that you're probably better at this than you think you are. You are totally capable. You've lived through tougher shit than this, so you can totally handle it. And you've come too far to give up now. So find a way of tracking your progress. Find a way of being in control. And if I can help at all, or you want to just reach out for a chat, I'm about. Have an amazing day, whatever you're up to. Enjoy your Friday, and I will catch up with you later. Big love.